guys, welcome to week 2. We are on day 8. Today we're going to do our check-ins because we didn't do it yesterday. Happy Mother's Day to all those mothers and all to your mothers. We are going to do glute activation. So this week is all about the booty. So week 2 we have glute activation, glute stabilization, glute strength. And it's the same concept. It's progressive as week 1 with the core activation series. We do the same thing with the glute activation series. The reason why it's only these 2 muscle groups that I'm targeting is because it's still part of the core system. So when we think about the TBA, the breathing, all of this, it's all through the core system as well as the glutes. So they are the primary movers and stabilizers of the hip, which is such an important and vital role that they play. And not only do we see it with working out, it's with our everyday life. So when they're functioning properly, you're going to notice that you move better. And when you move better, more efficiently, you have more energy and everything else starts to work in unison as well. So everything else starts to pull up and say, okay, this is my turn, and starts to activate when they're supposed to. So with that, with everything that we do, both of these systems, we need to be able to activate properly in order for them to function properly. They're the 2 biggest muscles, but not the biggest muscles, but they're the bigger muscle groups that we tend to want to target. And we can't really target them if they're sleeping and not engaging the way that we're supposed to. You can do 100 squats and 100 crunches, but still will not get the effect that you want because they're not performing optimally, right? So this is the reason, and I want you to understand the reason why we do cover it the way that we cover it, why the glutes have a full week dedicated to themselves, why abs core has a full week dedicated to them for itself. And that's it. We only have the 2 weeks that we're covering the activation series with the glutes and the core, and then we get started with the full program. So with that being said, we have 11 exercises with this one, with the glute activation. So you can perform 1 to 2 rounds for 15 to 25 repetitions, depending on if your glutes are fatiguing. Then I would slow down the pace. So if you get through your 11 and they're just on fire, don't overwork it, just leave it as is. However, if you're not feeling it as much, I would suggest to do a second round because you have very sleepy muscles, and that's okay. They just need some time to wake up, like me every morning. It's funny, I've never been a morning person, but since doing these videos, I've been forced to do the videos in the morning just because that's where when I want to upload the video, and I haven't yet caught up. Mother's Day was a busy day for me as well. So, and that being said, if you're not caught up on these videos, don't stress about it. Just try to at least watch the video and do a couple of the exercises. Optimally, you would do all the exercises for all the videos. The videos are a little bit longer to watch, but actually performing them doesn't take that long, about 5 minutes to do them. So I would suggest, if you are trying to catch up, don't stress about catching up, but try to still do them in the order that I posted. There's a reason for it, right? So it all has to work together. And if you're not understanding the basics of it, you're not really going to understand the complex parts of it. So try to catch up, but don't stress. Please don't stress about it. And always feel free to message me and ask me anything. All right, so the first one is a standing glute squeeze. Oh, I just did it. So with the glute squeeze, you're just standing and you just butt squeeze, okay? Butt squeeze. So you're going to want to hold, so don't just butt squeeze and let go. You want to butt squeeze, hold 3 to 5 seconds. 2, 3, 4, 5. Let go. Butt squeeze. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Butt squeeze. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Butt squeeze. You'll start noticing that the squeeze starts to feel different because different muscles are starting to engage, starting to wake up. Okay. So after you've done around 15 to 25, do single glute squeeze. You can't really see it, but maybe you can. So targeting one side versus the other is going to be really hard. So think about it like I like to touch where I want to activate. So it's just a mind to body connection. So I'm saying, hey, right here is where I want to squeeze. So squeeze and try to relax this side. So squeeze. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you're going to notice with single leg, your if you have dominant quads, that they're going to fire up as well. So tuck under, squeeze. 2, 3, 4, 5. And remember to breathe. We're always remembering to breathe. Actually, we're always forgetting, but you need to remember. I'll always prompt you in the videos just to get that reminder. 2, 3, 4, 5. Activating that TVA through the breath. 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you're noticing with this single leg you're struggling, don't do it. If you're not being able to just isolate the one glute with that, just skip this one. But if you're feeling it, do it, because that's gonna allow you to build on that. But if you're noticing, I can't squeeze, everything else is firing up, but I'm not feeling my glutes, try it a couple of times, do one round of it, and if you're still not feeling it, just move on to the next one. Once you get through all of them, you should be able to feel it. So come back up and try it again, and you may notice the difference. Okay, so that's the standing glute squeeze. The second one is the standing single leg glute squeeze. And now we're going on our back glute squeeze. So just lean flat back and squeeze the glutes. So your hips should pop up. Okay, up, squeeze. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Remember, breathing, core, pelvic floor. Squeeze. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm counting so you can't hear my breaths. And squeeze. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And squeeze. When it's essentially your glutes are pushing away from the floor, lifting your hips up. You'll feel this one a lot more than the standing one, because now you've added pressure to this movement, to this exercise. All right, so now single leg, same thought process, squeezing the one side, so your hips should shift up because the one glute is lifting up. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You should notice that you could do the line one a lot better than the standing single leg glute squeeze. And that's normal. Squeeze. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Switch to the other side after you've done 15 to 25. Up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or 3 to 5 seconds. Okay. 1, 2, 3. But I'm going to do 5 because I did 5 on the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you could know that one side feels a lot different than the other because you probably have one glute that's stronger than the other, and that is totally normal. That is what most people have. This side is my weaker side. So just having a conscious thought about that, just knowing your imbalances will help you strengthen those imbalances. So keep a mental note on which glutes are activating, which muscles are activating, which muscles are not activating as much. That way when you write it down in your journal too. So have your journal next to you when you work out and take note. Okay, my left glute is sleepier than my right glute. And so when we're working out, I want you to start on your weaker side and max it out so that your stronger side is not taking the lead, and then your weaker side trying to follow and keep up, right? So on the back, single leg squeeze. Good. So now we're going prone. So we're flipping over. Forehead on your hands. I'm just crossing my hands over the front, just so my face isn't in the floor. Okay, you're gonna tuck your toes under so they're not straight, they're tucked under. And we're gonna squeeze the glutes. And you're gonna feel that your pelvic pushes into the floor, your pubic bone, and that's okay. Squeeze. And as you squeeze now, you're just gonna lift the one leg. One. Okay? Down. Relax. Squeeze and up. Two. Okay? Squeeze. Up. Three. Practice what you preach, April. It should be starting on the other side. Okay, here we go. One. Two. Three. So we're firing it up by squeezing both, and then really isolating and squeezing the one. Okay. Squeeze and up. Relax. Squeeze and up. Okay, you should not feel this one in your low back. If you're feeling in your low back, that means you're arching your hips too much. So tilt the hips under into the ground. So what I mean is your archy, say right, you tuck your hips under, and you can do that on the ground as well. So tuck the hips under and you notice more of a glute engagement, okay? So then now we have the lying glute bridge. So on our back, and we're hips tucked under, this way, hips tucked under, right? Fire up those glutes. So when you think about foot placement, if it's too far out, it's going to be more hamstring. If it's more tucked in, you're going to notice those glutes a lot more, okay? So tuck them in as close to your butt as you can get and activate that core. Squeeze and pull in that pelvic floor. So 15 to 25 reps. Now we're moving over to the couch and single leg, okay? One leg down, one leg up, and up. So we're firing with my weaker side to lead the first exercise with single leg. Ready? Squeeze. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. You should really be feeling this now. This one really fires it up. So switch sides, say I did 10 to 15. Remember, time your breaths with the movement. So inhale and exhale up. 1, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Good. Oh yeah. That felt good. So now we're going on the couch. Our backs on the couch. Let's go to this one. You can see me in this one. Okay. So our back, when you think about your back being on the couch, I want you to think about the bottom of your bra strap. For men, it would be below your shoulder blades, okay? So prop yourself up, hands behind your head, knees, feet tucked in, okay? Butt down, and my unit, my top unit, moves as one. So I'm not gonna watch my upper body as I come up. I go with it. Now I'm like a tabletop, right? So when you're coming up, I don't want you to stay here. See how it kinks? Oh, you can't see. Oh, kind of. Okay, it kinks my neck here. I want you to lay flat so you're looking at the ceiling when you're at the top, okay? Your neck is not engaged, so it's just the glutes, okay? Move as one unit. Squeeze 1, 2, 3, or 5. Okay, 4, 5. Pull in that pelvic floor and squeeze. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So that's on the couch glute bridge. So now we're going single leg. Okay. So just slide the other one out front, not like dead, just slide it out. You're using it like a kickstand. Okay. Up, squeeze. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Primary mover is this one glute. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, other side. And up. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Good. So single leg glute bridge. Sorry, there's 11 because 12, because I'm including and changing it as I go. Sometimes I do that a lot. So lying glute bridge, and then off the couch glute bridge, and on the couch hip thruster, and on the couch single leg hip thruster. So the ones off the couch when we're going like this, that's the hip thruster. Okay. So next one, we have a kneeling 3-way kickback. The reason why we're kneeling for this one and not standing is because when you stand and go single leg, you're stabilizing this hip. Okay, so if we want to activate this glute, you're firing up this glute to stabilize, and you're firing up this glute to work. And then by the time you switch, this is going to be so fired up. And so we want to do that when we're in the working mode, not activating, not through activation, okay? So we don't want to overwork something when we're just trying to activate it, okay? So that's why I was saying, if it's like, if everything's really burning up, really on fire, that means it didn't take you a long time for your glutes to wake up. And that's okay. So just adjust what you're doing. So if they really fired up, then that's really good. So you can do a glute activation on a leg day. So when they're fired up and ready to work, man, that leg day is going to feel like a booty day. So when we're activating, we don't want it so fatigued that our leg is shaking. So adjust the work, okay? So if you're noticing that you'll only get through 7 before your leg starts to shake, before everything starts to burn, do 7. Do not work it to the point like it's numb, right? So we only want to activate it like, hey, wake up. So the kneeling 3-way, I'll go here. The kneeling 3-way glute squeeze. So one leg down, one leg back, okay? Toes tucked under. And I'm just gonna lean forward. So see how I'm straight, right? And it's just a small lift. So squeeze straight back and up. Squeeze. 1, 2, 3. Relax. Make sure you relax it, okay? Squeeze and up. 1, 2, 3. Down. Relax. Squeeze. Up. 1, 2, 3. Down. Relax. Up. Squeeze. 1, 2, 3. So that's the one way. And then the second way is sideways. So we're going to keep our leg bent and up and squeeze. 1, 2, 3. Up and squeeze. 1, 2, 3. I'll go this way just so you can see the direction that my leg is going. Okay, so up, squeeze. 1, 2, 3. Up, squeeze. 1, 2, 3. Remember that breath, pull in that pelvic floor. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So now the third one, I'm just going to do this side. We're going to come up, squeeze, up, and sideways over. Back to the midline and back in. So engage, up, side, over, down. Relax. Engage, up, over, in, down. Remember to breathe. Okay, you want to try to keep that leg high as it shifts over. If it's dropping down like this, just come up and over a little bit. It doesn't have to be a big movement, but if you notice you go over and it dips down, that means the glute fires up, but then it turns off and it drops your hip. So it drops your leg. So you want to work in the range that you're capable of working, right? Your body is capable of working. So if that means your leg comes up and it shifts over slightly before it dips down, then stay within that range. Stay within the range that you're strong, because we only build on that, right? All right, so the next one is bent knee clamshells. So laying on our side, laying pretty. Okay, so head, I like to place my hand like this. I like the support of my neck. You can also lay flat, just personal preference. Okay, hips and toes. So hips and toes should be in line. Knee comes out to the front. Okay, so I want you to place your hand on the glute right there. And you'll tell, I want you to be able to feel the muscle that's firing up. So it's right there. I can feel that fired up. So I'm going to just push my hand into that muscle. And it just a gentle reminder that that's where I want to be working. Okay. So when you lift that knee, it's not going to be a huge lift, right? So it's just a small lift, pinning your ankles together. So when you lift, it opens up like a book, not lifting up. Okay. So do it with your breath. Inhale, exhale, pull in that pelvic floor and lift. And with this too, because it's not a big movement, we're not shifting our hips. We're not rotating like this, okay? So it stays up and it's just a small movement. So remember, come back to a relaxed position, relax so it turns off. And then inhale, exhale, turn in that pelvic floor and lift. So now it's staying fired up and it's not relaxing. I can feel it just tightened up. So I'm just going to say, okay, that's good. It's going to be fired up. I'm going to switch to the other side and make sure you're counting, because I wasn't counting. But let's say I did 6 on that side. And I want to do 6 on this side because this is my stronger side. So I know, because I started on my weaker side, that my stronger side should perform more, but it's not going to. So bent knee, ankles, ankies together, finger on the glute, ribs. So you're not arched up, you're tucked in, okay? So more of a tucked position. Hand on the glute, inhale, exhale and lift. Hold. So that's the bent knee. Now we're going to go straight leg. So come this way. So straight all the way up and down. Flex the feet. So they're not pointed, they're flexed, bent ankles. And we're thinking about the glute med, which is the side muscle. Okay, so the minimus is right in there. The maximus is the bigger part of the booty. And the this med is the side. So place your hand right here. Ready? Inhale. Exhale and squeeze. So your lift may look different. It may just to be here, or it could be up here. I'm flexible, so when I'm lifting and stuff like that, and I have the glute strength, so it will go naturally higher. And again, I'm starting on my weaker side. Lift, hold, 1, 2, 3. You should not feel it in your hip flexors. If you are, shift your legs back more, okay? Make sure you're relaxing when it comes down. So that takes that time so you're able to take that breath, okay? Relax. Engage. Pulling that pelvic floor. Good. And then switch sides. All right, last one. This is the finisher. So I want you to stand up in a bent knee position. So we're not in a squat position. We're just in a bent knee position. Hips are bent. We're slightly leaned forward, so it looks like this. We're not hunched forward like this. So break the hip, bend the knee, hands on the hips or on the glutes, and side steps. So stay low. Remember to breathe. Okay. Start to feel it. Stay low. You should feel it right in here, okay? It's the lateral movements, but also through the stabilization of the hips. Okay? They're not big steps, they're just smaller steps. So I'll show you here. It's just side step, side step, side step, side step, side step, side step. And you can see, like, I'm coming straight across. I'm not, right? Okay, so stay low, step. That's where we're gonna get, it's fired up. Whew. Feeling that. Okay. And do this one as a finisher. And what I mean by that is until you're done. So if it's burning and you need to stop, because if they start fatiguing, guess what's going to kick in? Your low back, and we don't want to fire up our low back. Most of us have low back pain and ickiness. Mine's from my pregnancy, and I'm still trying to get them stronger so my core doesn't fail me in this, because if you have a strong core, your back won't be in pain for the most part, depending on what kind of pain you have, right? If it's injury, then there's a lot that can be fixed by the core fired up and working properly, but there's some cases where the low back you have other issues going on, underlying health issues. But when we activate the core, have the glute system, so the hip is fully stabilized. So when we start going into single leg movements, that you're able to stabilize the hip. So when, say if I'm like, I want you to do a leg raise, that it's not going to look like this. So your hip's not shifting just to get that leg up there, that you're able to stabilize and lift, right? And we see a lot of these movements where you leave the one leg, right? It's in a lot of the movements that we do. So it's super important that we activate the core, engage the glutes, and stabilize through the hips. It works as one unit. So when we're able to make it work as one unit, one strong unit, all the other exercises are going to come easy, because you're going to be able to do those motions without needing to, like, okay, I need to hold on because I cannot leave my one leg off, right? So there's those exercises, 1 to 2 rounds, depending on the glute fatigueness. So if it's fatigued a lot by the end, 1 round is good enough. Okay, so 15 to 25 reps, or as many as, so I give a goal range just based on average do not try to get to that number that I set. Set that number for yourself. So 1 to 2 rounds based on your number, on your weaker side. So always start on your weaker side. You'll be able to tell in the first couple of exercises which glute isn't firing up properly, and start with that side. Okay? So have a good day. Well, I'm going to message you guys individually today and do the check-in. So just seeing how you're doing through the program. If you're not caught up, please tell me, just so that I know where you're at. There's no point of saying, oh yeah, I've been doing the videos if you haven't. Don't worry about it, okay? Please just be honest, just so I know where you're at and what I can do to help, right? So we'll check in, see how you're going, see how you're doing. If there's anything that you're noticing, any barriers, I'm not having the time to do all these videos. Okay, well, what can we do, right? So let's work with what you can do, as well as trying to get you in the best way possible to reach your goals. Okay, so have a good day. We'll talk to you guys all tomorrow, or today, and see you for the video tomorrow.